The creator, the artist behind it is just somebody, he's a music maker, a thought-provoking artist, and madly original. Please welcome Boots Riley.
What's up? I wrote this script and originally made a different album that was inspired by writing the script, even though I didn't know how to get it made. And then we published it on McSweeney's as its own paperback book in 2014. And Sundance 2015 festival, I came here with the actual books in my hand, trying to meet people from Sundance. And I then applied to the writing labs, got in there, helped me out a lot. Just to talk to all these masterful writers who all disagreed on what I should do. Then I took it to the directing lab. I had started out in film school 20-something years before, and quit in favor of a record deal when making movies costs way more money even just for a short. And so, after going through the labs, going through the Catalyst program, probably every single program Sundance has to offer, I was there. It's a big dream come true. The actors that came on board really trusted me with a lot, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. They really believed in me in and put a lot of work into preparing for this. And not only the actors, but as you'll see, everyone involved in the crafting of this thing. And this has been, as many of these films, a multi-year journey to get here. And I don't want to say too much about the film itself. Many of you have heard too much already. I may not be able to be here for the Q&A because distributors want to talk to me about it. But if you see me on the streets, I'm here all week. You can Q&A me there. We may be able to get somebody here from the cast by the time Q&A starts, so they'll let you know at the end. Thank you so much. I'm gonna sit and watch some of it with you guys, and just to be here and make sure the projector works.
One of the actors in the film, Omari Hardwick.
Hey. Thank you for watching and staying and making it through Boots' crazy brain called movie. How many crew members do we have that are in the house? So I want to acknowledge all the crew, the Rocco Hotel, in Oakland. Thank you personally for me.
So why don't we start? Why don't you tell us about your first encounter with Boots and the script, and what drew you to this role, and why you had to do it?
So I was a fan of the Coup. Boots was, it's ironic because I'm a poet and definitely have an activist bent to me, and Boots was somebody that I was very familiar with growing up. His family's formative years being in Detroit, obviously a place that is no stranger to music and soul music and using music as a template for a message. And then of course his family moved to Oakland and the same thing happened, and of course he found his voice. So I was very familiar with his work. And then I got the script. Charles King called me. Charles King's a very dear friend, obviously, ex-agent and mastermind producer who runs Macro. And Charles called and said, I have a script for you, and your name is all over a particular role, and if you're down, at least give it a read and see what you think. And I read it, and it definitely reflected that of which I knew from Boots prior in terms of his music. his zany brain, his subconscious, as you and I talking about. And it was like nothing I'd ever read before. And I thought it would be viewed like nothing you'd ever seen before. So once I found out that Tessa was involved, who I've known for 16 some years and worked with her for a long time, and Lakeith, who I'm a fan of, and Armie Hammer, who's now like a little brother to me, and obviously the legend of Danny Glover. Those four people, sometimes your barometer antenna for wanting to do a project is simply the cast that the producer or director or producers have put together. And so that did, and again, an opportunity for me to wear pork chops to my left and a left eye patch, and to just be very, very different. You know, I'm really always trying to stretch my wings and show the crazy range within me, I think, that exists. And so I was all in.
Did you know who was going to be dubbing your voice before the movie
I
started?
did, man. I did, and I can't decide whether I made Patton sound cool or whether he made me sound cool. I haven't made the decision yet. I mean, Oswald is now, he's kind of fly. He might be called Ghost for the rest of his life. I was not aware. You know, I think it was probably 3 weeks into production that Boots came and he whispered to me who my voice was. And then I was like in my head, like almost subconsciously trying to sound like Oswald. And that didn't necessarily work. But I thought that was brilliant. You know, again, the social commentary on the movie is, you know, the foundation of the entire movie. There's different pockets, specific pockets of social commentary. And that is one that we as brown people know, which is there's a social commentary often not spoken about, which is that you are not necessarily received unless you put on a quote unquote safe outer appearance or an inner voice. And so, well, not necessarily an inner voice, that would be more figurative, but literally a voice that does not sound like that which you walk around speaking as. And so that was kind of really interesting that Lakeith and I were dubbed. And I've, of course, never seen that in a film. Have you? No, it's kind of cool.
Significance to the eye patch?
Yeah, there was. That's a great question. So we knew that we wanted the look that Boots actually walks around in life presently in 2018 wearing. So we knew we wanted that. And then he called me maybe the day after our incredible makeup department and hair department were figuring out this part of me. And again, wanting to look different from any other character you had seen me play or that I see myself play. And so he called and said, I got a guy that makes leather eye patches. He's a local cat in Oakland. What do you think? He said, you might not like it. I said, oh, I'm always trying to hide. I'm always trying to eliminate lines. You know, I think, no offense to writers, but I think oftentimes, you know, less is more powerful, more potent. So I thought that was apropos as it pertained to the eye patch. You know, it's less. You can't really see. My character, Mr. Blank, is sort of a bridge. He's a conduit between these nutty ideals of Armie's character and Mr. Lift, aptly named, as he's trying to get people to lift up to where he exists, and you know, Ricky's character. And so I thought that it was kind of cool to have the apple, which was my decision, sort of like that's the temptation from the Garden of Eden was my concept, and then the patch was you don't really necessarily know how much I'm seeing. You know, perhaps Mr. Blank is the most insightful without actually having vision in at least one eye throughout the entirety of the movie. So once he said to me being a poet, I kind of went to that deep place and I was like, fuck it, yeah, let's rock. So, and we did different color patches, you know, which was incredible. Our incredible team and of course Boots and his friend who made the patches, we decided to make like 6 different patches. So it was cool. My wife says I had an issue once I came out of the patch. So about a week later, I was. It's all good.
The costume design is amazing.
It's
in
bonkers,
itself.
man.
Holy shit. But I wonder, like, how involved were each of the actors in like making some of those decisions? Like,
So
wearing that stuff, like, how did that affect
how
your-
were we? Oh yeah, of course.
Like, that's crazy.
Well, so we had an incredible costumer. She's not here. Deidre. She's costume designer. Where is she? Oh, she was amazing. So Deidre was unbelievable. I wish she was here. She was amazing. And from the moment that we got there, all of us had an opportunity to sort of collaboratively give our input as to what we thought. And any, you know, it's a collaborative effort. Obviously, filmmaking is that, and any industry is that, whether you're an engineer or a teacher or a filmmaker. And so she definitely gave us a template or a foundation blueprint of what she thought the character would be, and we got to sort of pick and choose what best fit the characters. Sam Jackson always says you start with a hat and your shoes, and I kind of believe that because it determines the way you walk and the way you step as a character. So the middle or the meat of the sandwich can be filled in between. But for me, it's shoes and hat immediately, or the eye patch or what have you. But shout out to our costume department because they were phenomenal.
All right, you can talk to us a little bit about that scene where you finally drop the voice and you kind of, you tell the audience, you tell the Pete's character that this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. Like, how did you know you're a poet and activist, Ben? Like, how did you relate and feel that, inhabit that character?
That's a cool question. It's interesting because I hadn't seen the movie except for the first filming viewing of it, the premiere the other night, was the first time I saw it. So Army whispered to me before we went on, he goes, that's the drop of the film. It bottoms the film. And I thought, well, Lakeith and Tessa's characters are the grounding part of the film as well. That's reality, whereas the film's frame is surrealism, but they're real. When I whispered back, I said, does it take people out of it? And he goes, no. It brings it full circle, brings it back in. And so to use Army's point, which was very flattering, to use his point, what I felt when Boots said it, he said, what do you think? Do we stay in the white voice? Do we stay with it? Or do we just bring the element of what your familiarity is with the struggle that Lakeith's character is going through? Your familiarity being, look, Youngblood, which ironically I didn't know that Danny Glover in his scene had called him the same thing. It's very retro, right, to say Youngblood. And so I naturally did it. And what I thought was, it was very important, and that was an ad-lib, the Youngblood, but it was very important to say that because it was just a lot of times in life, you'll have other races ask black people, and black men in particular, why when we walk down the street, we nod at each other. Because we do. If you see a fellow black man and he's a stranger to you, we still kind of acknowledge him. The younger generation might not necessarily be doing that as much because they're basically on a cell phone like this. So they're missing an opportunity to nod. But it's our connection and perhaps statement of simply saying, you're still here. You're still on this earth. You're okay. You're all right. Now you might get in a fight with that guy 5 minutes later if he said the wrong thing to you. But there's a connective tissue of Velcroing of, I see where you are. And so that point of the film is me just dropping down, smalling myself, becoming little dog enough so that he could see me. And I squatted on purpose so that he really could hear me. And you take the ominous big brother thing out of it and you go, or you take the whole elegant, bougie reality that I came across as in the beginning of the introduction of the film. And then you just make him understand, I see you. I see where you're at. I see your struggle. I know you want money, who doesn't? I'm doing what I gotta do. Perhaps you don't necessarily have to, but go in the room and you decipher for yourself what you need to get out of this. So again, my character was such a bridge and a conduit, and I love it. We named him Mr. Blank. And I just figured out that his purpose by the end of the movie, you don't really figure out any of your work as an actor until the movie's over. You're like, oh, I figured out my character on it. So it was really that scene that allowed me to finally understand my character. So Army was correct.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Amari,